Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I am a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on May 16th, 2021 at approximately 8:31 p.m. PST. It's going to be a long haul, I suspect, getting things back to functional. Don't even think about going back to normal if you think about what normal was. Before COVID hit, normal was lie to each other, steal from each other, make laws that don't apply to certain people because of all sorts of different loopholes. Okay. Hold religious services where you promote fear, you promote injustice, you promote degradation. Okay, these are all things that were normal. Beat the heck out of your girlfriend or your boyfriend or your husband or your wife, and immediately thereafter apologize, blame them for it, and then say you're sorry. This is what normal seems to have been. So how about if we don't go back to normal? Okay, normal used to be you walk down the street, and fake as it was in many cases, you at least said hi to each other. You didn't fear getting within a few feet of each other. Okay, this is what was normal. Now, do not get me wrong. I absolutely am all for getting this COVID mess behind us, getting all of that behind us. Because the other part of normal was take the media, take all the really bad things, put them on the front page so people are bombarded with the negativity. Okay, now, if that's what normal is, have at her. I've got no interest in it. Okay, personally. Now, am I perfect? Absolutely not. As it turns out, I have a heck of a vocal temper. Okay, when it comes to dealing with what I call stupidity. In other words, you know better, and yet you do it anyway. Now, do I control my own outlook on life very well? Not really. These videos, thank you very much for those of you that encouraged me to get doing the videos and put this information out there. It has, intriguingly enough, helped me a lot. And hopefully this message will get out to people that the world that you knew, yes, it's over. It will be changed. People are starting to call it post-COVID. What's it going to be post-COVID? Well, pray and work towards making certain it is not going back to what it was. It's time to take a look at the world and go, okay, what are the things about this world that we're not content with? And let's eliminate them. Okay, redirect the energy. Bad things happen, absolutely. But this idea of saying of the religious people, the spiritual guides, standing in front of crowds of people going, it's a good thing. Fear the one that created you. Or fear the one that is guiding you, the one that built the entire universe. Fear that individual. Okay. If you're standing up there telling people to fear, you're not promoting love. It's just that simple. You cannot effectively go, I love you, let's beat the heck out of you. It doesn't work well. They are flip sides of the same coin. But you gotta pick one or the other, or the world's going to continue into a downhill spiral. Okay. So we start with the spiritual side of it. Those of you that are claiming to be spiritual guides, okay, and understand, here's the funny thing. Whether you're claiming to be a spiritual guide or not, if you are connected to anybody, if you're a parent, if you're a teacher, if you're just a person on the street that deals with people, you're a spiritual guide. People are turning to you, hoping for guidance to a better, a more enjoyable world. If you're standing there telling them, fear everybody around you, this is not promoting love. It's not even promoting goodwill. Okay, and it's time people take a look at the world and go, this is not right. War does not bring peace. conflict does not bring peace. Now, I know this is probably going to upset a number of people, and, maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. Okay, but I can tell you this. If you're promoting the idea that war brings peace, it doesn't. It does bring quiet. Because the reality is, if somebody's trying to shoot you, or if you're having that kind of problem, talk to any child from a complicated home front. They sit in their room, they plug their ears, and they hide from the world. Okay, hoping the bad stuff will go away. So they stay quiet for fear of upsetting somebody. Now, the reality is, if that's the world you're trying to propagate, it's working out quite well. The world is an absolute disaster. And it is not because of one person. It's not because of the elite. It's not because of the people that have wealth. It's not because of the religious leaders. It's because of everybody on the planet. Now, there are people out there that are being nice. Don't get me wrong. Okay, there are people that are doing things well. But the massive majority of people are promoting fear. They are promoting degradation. They are promoting abuse. Okay, not to mention neglect. Now, that probably is going to upset a lot of people, but think of it this way. If the people that are looking to you are asking for guidance and you're telling them, fear this person, fear that person, fear everything else, okay, if they are promoting fear, they are not promoting love. Okay, and yes, you can technically promote both, but you have to look at the balance point. If the majority of what you're saying is fear-based, then the balance side is going to be left a little out of sync. Okay, now, I will tell you, you start with, like I said, everybody on the planet that is connected to anybody is a spiritual guide. Okay, you don't have to have a certain type of garb. You don't have to be in a certain building or in a certain armed and fenced-in compound to say, I'm a spiritual guide. Okay, all you have to do is be a person that says, this is the right thing to do. Now, children are not born fearful. They are not born greedy, and they certainly are not born jealous and prejudiced. That is something they are taught by society. Okay. Now, if we take a look at the political side, okay, and every person on the planet is a politician. If you run a household, or if you run a family unit of any form, whether it is a religious thing, whether it is a family thing, whether it's just your small family, maybe you're a single parent, you're still a politician because you're still making laws. And if you're making laws that do not apply to everybody equally, you're going to have problems. Okay, because what happens if the laws are not equal? The society will fracture. Okay, now once society fractures, that second group is going to make its own laws. And again, if those laws are not equal, then what's going to happen is that little group is going to separate again. Now you've got three groups. Okay, that is essentially what has happened to society. Okay, society has fractured into so many little bitty bits and pieces, all of which have this brilliant idea they deserve better than everybody else. Well, it's a cute thought. And I'm pretty certain the people on the Titanic, which went down in 1912, I'm pretty certain the rich folk figured they deserved to be saved better than the poor people. The reality is, Mother Nature didn't care. The boat went down and everybody that was left on board sank and drowned with it. The Mother Nature did not check on what the person's bank book can look like. It didn't check on whether or not you had better material, better stuff in your stateroom. It just sank the whole boat. Okay. When a volcano goes off, you can bet Mother Nature does not turn around and ask you what your pocketbook looks like. before they blow your house up. Okay, they just don't check to see if you've got insurance. They don't check to see if you're old money, new money, or no money. Mother Nature doesn't care. Okay, and unfortunately, what I've seen with a lot of society is society. Yes, they put on this neat little face. Okay, trying to be nice to people. And I will tell people very wholeheartedly, I became a recluse years ago. I pulled away from people because I could not handle dealing with I couldn't figure out how to handle. I probably could have handled it. I couldn't figure out how to handle the amount of duplicity on this planet. The amount of people that would say, on the one hand, I care about you a great deal, I really want to help people, and then they turn around, rip people off, beat the heck out of them, accuse them of things, and do such heinous things. Now, the sad part is, the massive majority of people are decent people, and that doesn't sound like it with what I just said. Needless to say, my outlook on life is a little bit different than most. But it's time for people to realize that if you're going to promote fear, if you're going to promote separation, you're going to get that. And what's happened is society has fractured into tiny itty-bitty bits and pieces. Okay. And everybody, the massive majority of people seem to be so focused on what they desire, they're not looking at the big picture. Okay. Now, don't get me wrong. It is absolutely imperative that we have politicians, that we have law enforcement, that we have spiritual guidance. But it's time to start handling it in a way that is functional. As in, laws must apply to everybody, regardless of what their station in life. If you've got people working for a given company or a given organization, they have to be working for the same, they have to still be following the overall rules. Okay. If they don't, you end up with absolute chaos. Now, I've heard of some people calling, I've talked to some people that have absolutely pushed for the idea of anarchy. As in, take all the rules out and let the strong survive. It's a cute thought, but it results in an absolute disaster. And eventually what happens is society does stabilize. The question is, do you actually want society to fracture completely and completely collapse and spend the next several decades trying to balance it? Or are you willing to start looking in the mirror and going, okay, what am I doing that I'm not content with? Okay, what am I doing that is not bringing peace, is not bringing some sense of stability to my world? Okay, are you willing to wait 20, 30, 40 years, or as happened with the Dark Ages, a couple of hundred? Or are you willing to actually sit down and go, okay, it's time to start looking at things in a more functional fashion, in a more cooperative method? Okay, now, when I started doing these videos, the idea was to show people how to get things sorted around. And I will still hold very wholeheartedly to this, that came out well, to this idea of putting a list together for yourself. Keep the tasks to 15-minute to half-hour tasks. Okay, in doing that, you'll be able to get them done. You'll be able to see things happen in a positive fashion. But it's time to start focusing on the overall side effects. Okay, do I have it here? Yep, right there. Way up here. Okay, that'd be the first thing. And somewhere around here we should have something else. Nope, that won't work. Just looking for something I should have actually had here originally. There we are. Thought I had it. Now, here's the thing. If you take a look at your world and you go, what am I not content with in my world? Okay, what happens is you end up with this little itty-bitty point. Now, you can't see much of it. I don't even know if... Yeah, there we go. Okay, you see that little dot? That little circle? That's your world. Now, if you do that, what happens is it will affect the people around you. Okay, the people you come in contact with. Now, I'm only drawing 4 circles here. These are 4 people that you connect with outside of your current home. Okay, and what ends up happening is you treat them, you treat yourself, you eliminate. Can we try one thought? What do you think? You correct the negative stuff in your world, which is the center dot. And when you get outside, you'll have more tolerance, you'll have more patience with the people outside, and thereby you will alter their world, whereby they will follow lead. Now, not all of them will, but you'll hit a few of them. And when those people start following lead, they too will affect people around them. Okay, and again, all I'm doing is just showing you a little bit of a connection here. This is a side effect. And again, I'm only using 4 circles. But when you add the extra 4, you'll notice it's starting to get to be a bigger area. Well, we can extrapolate and understand that the more people that do this, the wider that area is going to go. And the more people are going to get along. But we have to realize that if we take things back to normal, back to what it was, what you're looking at is an absolute disaster. Okay? And society doesn't stop degrading. You know, if you stay doing the same thing, society will continue to degrade. And you will end up with chaos. I mean, it's already, people are already talking about, you know, I want things to go back to normal. Take my word for it. If you don't recall what normal was, you don't want it going back to normal. Okay? Because what was there wasn't working. If it had been working, you wouldn't be in the boat you're in now. Okay? Now, I've always had trouble dealing with people as far as understanding why people do what they do. Okay, I remember when I was a kid, I used to go to church. I do still believe wholeheartedly in God. I do still believe wholeheartedly in Mother Nature and the whole 9 yards. But when I was a kid, I was going into Sunday school, and we actually had a pastor. Okay, I'd gone to a Sunday school that had a youth group that accepted everybody. It didn't matter what your religious affiliation, what your age. It was just, there it was, let's get together. One pastor walked into that church, and he literally walked into the youth group and went, if you're not... Now, this is a guy promoting love, that is supposed to be promoting love, promoting getting along with people, etc., etc., promoting acceptance. One pastor walked into the church, and he walked into the youth group, and he goes, if you're not of this specific belief that matches mine, get out. Now, I see this happen way too often in so many churches, it's insane. Okay, now, I understand there's a lot of you out there that'll go, well, that's not me. And absolutely, if it doesn't apply to you, don't take it on. Okay, I am watching brother versus brother. Came into my awareness the other day of a couple of sisters that used to be absolutely a real gem to watch them work together. Okay, I have recently found out that they have come apart at the seams, and whether it's they have come apart at the seams, or whether it is somebody has started putting extra garbage out there to make it look like they're having troubles, I don't know. Okay, because technology and the amount of rampant degradation going on, the amount of absolute incredible bullying going on is out of hand. Okay, but this young couple, okay, and like I said, they're twins. And this young couple, I really hope, managed to put things together and get back on track to what they are. This idea of really turning around and beating the heck out of each other just doesn't work. Now, am I perfect? Absolutely not. Okay, it takes a lot for me to maintain control on occasion. I mean, maintain control of my own mouth. Never mind the people around me. I'm not trying to control those people. I'll tell you right now. If you agree with what I'm telling you, absolutely. Take it to heart, spread it around. Give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel to get the rest of the videos that are available. There is a subset of videos I am tripping over that a lot. There is a subset of videos that I've done that are titled Language, in which I identify a number of different words in the spoken language, in any spoken language, quite frankly, including American Sign Language, okay, that are absolutely self-deprivating. They absolutely hold you back. Okay, take a look at those words and compare what I say to what you've seen. Okay, do not just take my word for it. The fact that I'm sitting here telling you does not mean I'm 100% right. It simply means I'm telling you what I'm seeing. Okay, and if we go back to the world the way it was, okay, where we are promoting fear, where on the media, whether it's a movie or not a movie, whether it's news, whether it's a special report, whether it's the newspaper, a radio, doesn't matter. If you're putting the absolute worst part of humanity on the front page or as the headline, you're actually telling these people and you're telling everybody, we're more interested in seeing this negative garbage, this degradation. We are much more interested in seeing that than finding out that John Doe made success. Okay, that he managed to succeed in passing his course. He worked hard, he put the effort into it, and has gotten on track. Okay, now with that in mind, okay, society has to change. Well, technically it doesn't have to, but it's going to. But it's up to you whether it's going to change for the better or whether it's going to collapse. Okay, now I cannot make the decision for you. All I can tell you is that if we go back to the way it was, promoting the negative side, telling people on the front page of whatever magazine, so-and-so cheated on so-and-so, so-and-so ripped off whatever, so many people got killed. If that is what is on the front page of everybody's minds, if that is what is being promoted, then that is what we're going to replicate. Okay, now, there are two people in particular, a set of twins that I absolutely hope get this message and reach out to each other and really put things back together. Because I'll tell you, the light that comes off of these two in particular is absolutely phenomenal. I met them years ago, and unfortunately have not been able to connect with them since. Okay, for a lot of reasons. Okay, and I suspect a lot of it has to do with life. I mean, unfortunately, my life has gone a little screwy. But I do hope that these two in particular will absolutely reach out, because they've done a lot of good for a lot of people, and to see them in this much turmoil is painful from my standpoint. Same as now, understand, I am what is referred to as an empath. I physically pick up what other people are going through. In my case, it's a little more severe than some. Okay, because I also pick up what the planet is going through. Okay, and that said, it's time we start looking at what is going well with people. I could carry on forever and tell you what is wrong, but the way to make things right is to start eliminating the negative things in your world. Okay, I found out just today that if I look at the negative side too much, it absolutely creates a problem for me personally. I'm not doing it anymore. Okay, I will point it out where I have to, and these videos, quite frankly, It's absolutely imperative we get this message out to everybody that picking up a gun, picking up a knife, and using it on somebody else is not going to bring peace. The politicians out there that are on the brink of war with each other, putting a missile in somebody else's backyard will not bring peace. It will not bring happiness to anybody. Okay. And ultimately what it will do is cause a lot of death, a lot of suffering, an awful pile of pain, and a whole lot of anger. None of which is conducive for clear thinking to make this a better world. Okay. Now, on that note, there are a staggering number of people that are working front lines. Okay, your emergency response teams, the nurses and the doctors, and I'm talking about the ones that are actually doing the work. I'm not talking about the ones that are saying, "Oh, take this pill and go home." I'm talking about the ones that are dealing with the mindset up here. Okay, pills work great for a crutch. And I know of some people where medication is absolutely critical to keep them balanced. But it is something that if we all work together, we can actually make this world a better place. Where you don't have to worry about who's getting shot. There was conflicts when I was younger. There absolutely were. But you didn't have metal detectors in every school. Now, granted, I'm up here in Canada, and from what I understand, we don't have metal detectors in every school. Okay, but you got to question the society, the state of the society you're in, if that is the norm. What's gone wrong with the home? Are you actually sitting down and talking to your kids? Are you actually listening to what they're telling you? And are you actually guiding them down a path that is equal, that you are following as well? This is what I mean by the world cannot afford to return to so-called normal. Okay. But I do want to put a big thank you out to the people that are working in the emergency response teams on the front lines. Okay, and I'm referring to the front lines in society because we have to have, we've got to have those front lines dealt with. Absolutely. Laws are necessary. But it is absolutely imperative that we work together. And there is just no functional way around it. If you don't work together, society falls apart, and all of a sudden we've got a worse disaster than we currently have. Now, on this note, I am going to bring this to a close pretty quick here. But again, the set of twins in question that I was talking about earlier, this is a direct message for you. You know who you are. I met you, I guess about 8 or 7 or 8 years ago. It is time for you to really do your best to take the negative side of what you've been through and really reconnect, because the light that comes out of you two when you're working hand in hand is absolutely mind-bogglingly brilliant. Okay, it's time to take anybody out there that is having conflicts with those close to them. It's time to reach out and put that to rest. Yes, things have gotten messy. Okay, and the last year and a half here has been absolutely horrendous. So let us start working together and start focusing on what is working. Okay, on that note, if you look at the list below, at the list below the video, you'll find a whole bunch of different ways of connecting with me. If you've got questions, if you've got concerns in any front, I've been doing this for, 48 years now. Okay, reach out to one of those contacts below. If you take a look right above it, there's a list of different publications I've got in print already that covers some of this information. Okay, that can be ordered directly through me. Okay, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, okay, and we will talk to you again tomorrow. Until then, take care of yourselves and each other, and for pity's sakes, stay positive.